Hello, everybody. Your eyes are not playing tricks on you. As you can see, I have facial hair. It took me months to grow this out. And yes, it's white. With that being said, welcome to Do It Like Danny. I'm going to tell a million stories, and maybe one will hit home, and you'll be like, wow, that happened to me. And it's not about me. Well, it is. You know, television is a very, very crazy beast. I learned so much at Tyra. This is real emotion. This is something that I experienced.
I want the world to see what I have always seen, and that is the love that you have for just being yourself.
I love this person who knows who he is, who can make people laugh.
I think the script I gave you was a little bit different, but I'll take that.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm drinking at work because it's my show. I drink on my show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Do It Like Danny. It's been crazy. It's been fun. Hi, Louie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. As you can tell, I have no voice. I went out the other night. I have a friend who smokes a lot, and, you know, the bar that we went to, they smoke in the patio, and he literally was like, he didn't mean to, but he was just blowing it out and blowing it out and blowing it out, and I just feel like I was just inhaling all of it.
With your asthma?
Yeah, with my asthma. So then I woke up this other morning, and I was like, oh, like I could hear myself breathe, which was terrible. So I've been sucking on my inhaler, like... But hi, everybody. I hope everybody has been having a wonderful time watching our shows. I want to thank everyone that's been watching. I want to thank everyone that's been listening. And I want to thank everyone that's been following us. Hello.
I also want to thank everybody who actually took the time to be a guest on our show for the last several weeks. I appreciate it. I know Danny appreciates it. And it was really, really fun to have everybody on.
It is, and we have more guests coming up also, too. We have lots more, because, I mean, a lot of the feedback that we get is people want to hear more bullshit and dirt about me, which I'm fine. So if you're one of my enemies that wants to come on the show and talk shit about me,
I know, right? Why be afraid? Come, share your side so we can share our side.
Exactly. Share your side so, like, we get flooded. There's like 1 million people are flying in from all over the country.
Well, at least we'll have a lot of content.
Yeah, a lot of content for like 5-10 years. Season 27.
We have to get the person who you stole their cupcake money on. That would be a good one.
I wonder if he's still alive. I always wonder if people are still alive, you know? Like, you know, because people, you know, things happen. The world turns and people pass or people play or whatever. Oh my God. So, I mean, I've been really busy. I've been very, very busy. We had Dana last week, which was great and wonderful. Always love having her on the show. It's always a tearjerker. But, you know, the holidays are coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know what your holiday plans are for you, but I know that I'm probably going to be very, very, very busy.
You gonna be driving a lot?
I don't know if I'll be driving. I probably won't be. Oh, yes, I probably will be, but I probably will not be, you know, partaking in too many extracurricular events because, you know, like we have family. Yeah. And I have to go to my sister's. And I don't mean like I have to, it's like mandatory, but like I like to visit everybody. Yeah. I don't want to just stay at one person's house. Like I feel like I have to like, being like the oldest and obviously with a TV show, a
YouTube show.
Look at me, a YouTube show. I'm so popular. I want to like spread the love. So I got invited to Gina's. I got invited to my Auntie Susie's. Nice. I got invited to, I think my sister will probably do something too. Oh, nice. I didn't know what my other sister's going to do, but it's the holidays. And with the holidays, though, and I think we should kind of touch on this, you know, with the holidays, emotions run high. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, in talking about emotions and holidays, you also, you know, it's like for me personally, you know, I've been looking for a roommate. I haven't had a roommate, right? So it's been a lot of alone time. And I've been working my ass off. But let me tell you, there is something about living alone.
Do you like it or do you hate it?
That I love. That I just absolutely love. And, you know, a part of me is like, and I'm going to jump around for a little bit because, you know, it has to do with like relationships and energy and everything. It's like, you know, would I like to be in a relationship? The honest truth would be yes, I would like to. Yeah. But I have met some really awful people lately. Like, it's just been one after another of just like, oh, God, red flag. Oh, my God, red flags. Parade of flags, right? And then I think about myself and I'm like, do I have red flags? Like, and what is it me? Is it me?
Well, I think we all have our own red flags.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's really fair. And maybe I'm just not grasping and embracing mine. I'm not sure.
Or maybe it's the fact that you haven't met somebody who has red flags that you want to deal with. Because that's at the end of the day, it's what it is, right?
Yeah.
How many of those red flags can you possibly put up with?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I met this. Yeah. I don't even know if I should tell this story, but never mind. But I don't want to.
Well, you can't set it up and go,
I
never
know.
mind.
I just feel
People
bad.
wanna hear.
I'm trying to figure out a way to like not say people's names because I know a lot of people that watch the show.
We'll do Suitor 1,
Yeah.
Suitor 2.
So Suitor 1, and this has to do with my new friend that I met. I won't say his name either because I know people also, and not. I mean, like actual friend, like friend, not like a boink, 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 boink. So, we went to the bar together and we were having a blast. I was having a good time. It was like one of those, it was bear night. It was barbarians, right? And they have strippers, which is like my downfall.
Your favorite thing.
And I was just like warming up quarters and sticking them in their jock straps. And, one of them like came over to me and he was, he was laying it on really thick, but it almost made me believe like he wanted to like take me out and date me. I mean, he was laying it on thick. He's like, "Where have you been all night long?" And I was like, "Me?" I'm like,
"Right." In your older age, are you getting that point? You're like falling for it,
right? I was like, and then in the back of my head, I was like, you just said everybody, right? So like he goes in to like start to make out with me, and I was like, for a minute, I kind of was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, right?
Yeah.
But then I was like, think of all the people that he's made out with, right? So I kind of was like, like I played very coy, and I was like, here's $1. Like I don't know, I immediately just pulled $1 out, and I was like, trying to like skew him away from my mouth. And my friends were laughing behind me and having a good time making fun of me, because I enjoy that. And then my other friend actually hooked up with a person that I had hooked up with.
Oh, interesting.
Right? So here's the thing. So in my old age, I don't want to be sloppy queen. Okay?
Okay.
So sloppy queen is the queen that goes and tells everybody's business. Right?
Yeah.
To change their narrative, to change everyone's narrative, to either pit this person against this person or to spread nasty rumors because that was their experience, right?
Yeah.
So my experience, which I will, kind of divulge in just a few moments, we'll call him Green Eyes. Because he has the prettiest green eyes ever in all of America, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. And mine, of course, they're mine, but they're store-bought. So anyway, we met a couple of times. We went to Disneyland, and I kind of felt like we were kind of moving forward, right?
Yeah.
I didn't really hear from him for a few weeks, a few months. And then out of the blue, I ran into him at the bar. And we didn't like fully hook up. I will say this, we heavy petted. Okay. But within that heavy petting, I never knew that he was, like, for lack of a better word, a masochist.
Okay.
He wanted control.
Yeah.
He wanted to make sure that I knew my place.
Just control. Okay.
He wanted to make sure that he knew that he was the alpha dog.
So he's like a dom?
Super dog. Yes. And so, listen, I mean, in my old age, have I experienced things like that? Absolutely. Did I experience it on this level? Not so much.
Oh, wow. It's that high.
It was very verbal. There was a lot going on. And I don't want to like say things to like scare people, but it was a point where like my throat was grabbed and there were words said to me, and like that was the height of his sexual pleasure, right? That's not the height of my sexual pleasure. But I'll never forget the words he said to me when I kind of like pulled back a little bit because I was like, ow, right? And he's like, "You're just not ready." And I was like, what does that mean? Like, for a black eye? Like, I'm not ready? And maybe in the community you've experienced these things. I don't know. I mean, it was very, very new for me personally. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty borderline abusive. So that quickly ended, right? But I never knew. Like, he hid under the guise of, let's go to Disneyland. And he was a very nice gentleman, very, very nice. So fast forward to my buddy. So my buddy ended up, I knew Green Eyes liked my buddy. I knew it because his tone changed. The fake laughter came out, and I was quickly reminded of that character that he played at Disneyland.
Yeah.
So old Danny wanted to be like, girl, you need to get away from there. He's this. But then a part of me was like, what I'm starting to realize in my old age, or my young age, is that no matter what you tell people, they still have free will.
Yeah.
They're still going to do whatever they want to do, right? And that goes for everybody.
Yes.
So I'm trying to stop giving my 2 cents, and I'm trying to keep my 2 cents and keep it to myself.
Yeah.
Now, as the evening played itself out, I went and I met new people. I had a blast. I was having fun. I was, doing it like Danny. My buddy and Green Eyes were partaking in certain things, and I could overhear like what was being said. And Green Eyes was like, don't look at that guy, and like only look at me. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like,
that must be a little much.
It was a lot. And like my friend is like, he's white, he's Caucasian. And when I say he's white and Caucasian, he is like the epitome. Like, yeah, he like there's nothing. Yeah, he's pink. He's very pink. And it's not Matt, by the way. Not Matt. Which I'm sure we probably have to talk about at some point also, too. Anyway, so long story short, they do their thing. They're over there, what have you. And so it comes to like, it's time to go. And so I kind of just asked my friend, I'm like, hey, if you're having fun, like, I don't want to get in the way of you having fun. I can always take an Uber home, because he drove.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. Like, just, let him walk me to the car and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, great, whatever. You let me know how much time you need. So they walk off, and then like literally 2 minutes later, he's like, okay, let's go. And I was like, oh, that was quick.
Yeah.
All right, fine. So then I knew something was up. So of course I get in the car, and he's like, I go, how was it? And he's like, so it was very different. And of course, again, and so I hadn't revealed to him that Green Eyes and I had also kind of sort of played together, right? And it didn't go any further. And so he said to me, he starts telling me and detailing everything. And I said, oh, and then he says those haunting words. He goes, he told me that I wasn't ready. And I'm like, okay, so listen. I'm like, now that you've experienced it, I'm like, nothing that I say to you is going to taint you.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't want to do that. And that goes back to just like, I don't want to be that person anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back and try to give my opinion and it's going to taint somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person. I'm trying so hard not to be that person, right? I'm so used to giving my 2 cents, and I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have the emotional capacity anymore to give my 2 cents to people unless it's going to cause them imminent danger, right? And so, he begins to detail his experience, and then he says to me, when he said those words to me, and he said to me that I wasn't ready. And he goes, it was really rough. And I said, well, here was my experience. And he goes, you had an experience with him? And I said, I didn't want to tell you, white friend. Because I didn't want to taint you. And he goes, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, because even if I had said something.
Would it have changed it?
It wouldn't have changed it. It wouldn't have changed it. You could have gone one of two ways. You could have said, this bitch is trying to get me away from him, right? Or vice versa. It could have gone. Who knows how it could have gone. So why would I want to put myself in that situation?
Yeah.
I wanted you to experience what you experienced. Yeah. And then I wanted you to kind of come back, and then we were going to compare stories, because I also didn't want it to get back to Green Eyes that I had said those things, right? Because we don't know how things, you can't control people, right?
Yes.
I mean, people think you can control them, but you can't control them.
Yeah.
And, you can't control the narrative. You can't control any of that stuff. People think that you can, but you cannot, because at the end of the day, people still have free will, which means you can do whatever the fuck you want. And so can I. So as we compared stories, I said to him, that's interesting that you say that he said that you're not ready, because he said those same exact words to me. And my friend was like, oh my God. So then here's the other part too. Then my friend's like, well, you have to help me figure out a way to get out of this. I'm like, I don't know, boo.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to tell you to do anything. Like if you feel that you want to like pursue this, or only you know when enough is enough.
Yeah.
I can't tell you when enough is enough. And that
Yeah.
goes for everything in life. I can't tell you. And I find lately that people have been like coming to me and saying, well, what would you do? And that's what I say to them. I'm like, listen, I can't tell you what I would do, because until I've been in that situation, I'm not going to give you my experience. And even if I did, I'm still not going to tell you, because you have to figure it out on your own.
On your own, yeah. It's different
And
for everybody too.
It's very different for everybody. Anyways, I totally went on a fucking tangent with this crazy story, right? And my new friend. Meanwhile, we were talking about holidays and emotions. Let's go back to happy holidays and emotions. So Thanksgiving is coming up. What are you going to be doing?
I don't know yet. I'm kind of in this weird position where I'm living for the day. I'm not trying to plan anything anymore. I no longer have control of what's going on. I can only just control what's going on for that day.
But wait, what do you mean? Can you give an example? What does that mean?
I've always kind of lived my life in a controlled bubble. I've always had a plan. I've always had thoughts for the future. And I think right now what the show has kind of taught me is that no matter what you plan, it's forever flowing. And the things that are going to happen are just going to happen. Our first episode that we did for the show, I mean, everything that could have went wrong and told you to just quit happened. And it was embarrassing. But, you know, that's kind of what I think I've needed to learn, as I just need to let the control go.
Yeah.
I need to really get back into living for myself in a sense where I'm not living under the control of a job that put me in a set schedule. I just need to kind of not stress about so many things. I mean, like when we record on these days, I always go home and I go, okay, I got to finish. I got to get everything ready. I got to get everything done. And then I stress myself out to where I don't want to do it. And I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I should just go about my day, take care of what I need to take care of, and then handle this, because it always gets done. And that's the thing. I always get it done. So why am I stressing about it?
Well, I think we're very emotional people.
Yeah.
I think we definitely come from an emotional family. And I don't think that's a negative thing.
No.
I think that's a great thing. I think that we are led to believe that being emotional is a bad thing, especially in corporate America.
Yeah.
Especially in television also too, when it's really interesting. It's a hypocrite thing to say, because you want people to feel the emotions. You want that to flow. And then people are like, you shouldn't cry and you shouldn't do it. So there's a lot of like, mixed signals, if you will. And going back to our family, you know, we definitely come from a very emotional family who's dealing with their own stuff.
Yeah.
What I am happy to see is that, like, you know, I went for Halloween to my Aunt Susie's house, and it was nice to hang out with Paul and his wife and Teo and everybody, because I don't get to see them.
Yeah.
And then to put a pin in that story also too, previously I had hung out at Auntie Kathy's house, and it just reminded me of like how we used to be when Grandma was alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, we're an emotional family. Emotions run high. You know, Grandma's been gone for what, 6 years now?
It's almost going to be 10, which is...
Wait, 10 years? Grandma's been passed?
She died in 2017.
Ooh, we're like in 24.
Yeah, that's only 3 years away.
Okay, but we're not there yet.
But those 3 years are going to go by fast. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, that's
it's gone by
true.
pretty fast.
It's so weird because I feel like I've lost a chunk of time. Like, you know, when you see those movies and people like fall asleep and then they wake up and like,
Yeah.
oh my God, my family is old and they've had kids. It's like, that's what I felt like.
Yeah.
It's like a time warp.
Yes.
Going back. Because, you know, listen, Auntie Susie's further along, Auntie Kathy's further along. You know, everybody has their own things. My mom is getting further along. Your dad is getting further along. But I long for, I think, what everybody else longs for in the family, which is at one point we were all together.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so whatever they have to deal with on their own is what they need to deal with, right? But Thanksgiving is coming up, and it would be great if everybody could kind of put away the ego, put away whatever they're holding on to, and congregate together once more.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once we're under one roof again, all the bullshit will be erased in my mind.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that could be a Disney fucking character movie.
Delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But, that's what I would like to see. It would be nice to kind of have that once again.
I agree.
I think Grandma would be very happy to see that everybody's kind of put aside whatever they were going through in terms of their lives and realize that's the one thing that we can't afford. You could buy a home, you could buy a fucking fancy car, but you can't afford time.
No.
It's the number one thing that you will never be able to buy.
Yep.
And it is fleeting.
Yes.
So with the holidays coming up, if you have family members and it's time to reconcile and it's time to reach out and it's time to figure out that, again, time is fleeting. I know I have some relationships to repair. And then there's some that I know that nothing will ever come of it. So I kind of shy away from it. But at the end of the day, it's a time to celebrate. It's a time to remember all of your history, all of your past, grandparents or moms and dads, brothers and sisters that were alive at some point that added to your life. It's really funny, too, because you won't get this, but I know Auntie Susie and all them, when they're watching the show, they'll get this. So I was hanging out with Helen, and Helen is one of our cousins.
Yeah.
She's in our family with Bonnie and all of the Brays. And we just talk so much shit. And so, oh my God, this is the best story ever. And I totally have to tell this. So Helen gets out of the car, right? And she comes walking up with this girl, okay? But I said, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And I introduced myself to the young lady. And I said, oh, are you Helen's coworker?
It's her daughter, isn't it? How did I know that? Because I know these things.
I was like, what the? And Helen's like, it's my fucking daughter. How do you? What happened?
It just broke.
It did?
Yeah.
How did it break?
I don't know.
Did it tear?
It just ripped.
Oh no. I mean, they've been out here for a few years.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
Oh no.
I do the same thing. Oh, no. All right.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, so
see,
what were we talking about?
No control.
What were we talking?
You were talking about Helen's daughter.
Oh yeah. So yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. It was her freaking daughter. I want to say fucking. I can't do that. It was her daughter, and I go, oh, she's that's Helena, and I was like, wait, what? I go, oh my God, I didn't know. She's I have 2 daughters, and I go, I know that, but she doesn't really post them on Facebook. I never seen them, or if she had posted them on Facebook, it was when they were younger.
Yeah.
This was I honestly thought it was one of her coworkers. I don't even know where that even came from. So of course that was the chuckle at everything because I opened my mouth and I'm like, oh my God, you guys work together. I didn't know who she was. And that's another thing to add to the pot of how time just passes you by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How it's like, oh, fuck, oh my God, my cousin who I've been fooling around with her forever and we joke back and forth has children.
Yeah.
God, I really feel old now. And so it was funny. We were reminiscing about Bama's mom, Sabina. And then we were reminiscing, you don't know her, but her name was Aunt Gumi. This is way before your time.
Yeah.
And we both go, oh my God, we loved Aunt Gumi. And so, Auntie Susie, everyone that's going to be watching this, I know that you remember Aunt Gumi, but we loved Aunt Gumi. And it's just one of those things where we were talking about stuff and then I look at the other kids and I'm like, they're never going to have the opportunity to know these characters. They're never going to have the opportunity to know what that camaraderie was like.
Yeah.
When Bama was drinking and we were all carrying on and we were having the best time ever, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of felt a little guilty because I feel like they're kind of getting cheated out of it. They should be exposed to that level of family, whether it was dysfunctional or not. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a depth of family that I feel that everybody should experience in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And I know that for Latino families we do, and it could reign true for other families, maybe not so much for white families.
Just to kind of add to that, do you feel like it's disappearing in our family a little bit?
Oh my God, it's disappeared for many years. And it's like, but what do? Listen, it's not anybody's fault. each of our parents have gone through their sibling rivalry, right? But they're all in their 70s now.
Oh, getting there.
Okay, they're getting there, and it's like at some point, don't you have to get over it?
You would think.
And so maybe with the holidays, maybe that's what we should talk about is forgiveness.
Yeah.
And forgiving people, because let me tell you, I have done a lot of forgiveness lately. And that goes back to just when we were talking about being at home alone.
Yes.
When you are alone, for me, it's been the best time ever. It's been the hardest also too, because, they raise my rent. It's like, oh God, but that's life. Everybody has bullshit they have to deal with.
Things you can't control.
Things you can't control.
Yeah.
You try to.
By
but throwing rocks at your renter's, your landlord's house. No, I didn't do that. But, there's just things that you can't control. And I can't control how our parents, react to certain things. They have to heal.
Yeah.
They have to go through it on their own. There's nothing I can say or nothing I can do. But it would be nice if they could find a voice together and we could all be back on the same page.
I agree.
And I'm not saying kissy huggy fake. Listen, whatever they went through is whatever they went through. And they're probably going to get mad because I'm probably talking about it. But it's like, why? This is how I feel.
Yeah.
I've always felt this way. After Obama died, it was broken.
Yeah.
It was broken. But I think enough time has passed at this point. I mean, to add to what you just said, it's going to be almost 10 years, right? 10 years is a long time.
Yeah.
10 years is a lot can happen.
It flew by.
Years.
Oh, yeah.
It flew by. But she's not coming back.
Yeah.
So what can we do to continue and carry that on? What can we do? What can we do?
It might be one of those things where it won't be the same until after they're all gone. And I hate to say that because these are...
God, that's pretty morbid.
These
but
are...
It's true. I'm just kidding. No.
I mean, these are people that, were more than just my aunts and uncles. These are people that were parental figures for me. I didn't have brothers and sisters like you guys did. You guys are my brothers and sisters. So sometimes that kind of stuff has to end with them so that we change that. And it might not happen until that happens. Then I hate to say that because I share the same sentiment. I would love to see all my aunts and my dad in a room enjoying family holidays like we have in the past.
That's interesting. I never thought of it that way. That's a great point of view. I never thought, you didn't have any brothers and sisters.
No.
And I had sisters too, but I practically helped take care of them quite a bit. You know what I mean? I never really thought of that. So that makes sense that they are all your brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
That's a great statement. I like that. I enjoy that. And that makes a lot of sense. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm just processing it. I just heard it for the first time. And so now I'm processing it in my brain and trying to grasp it and hold on.
But it came through and that's what matters.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's something that we have to kind of figure out how to do it like Danny can do it to our family or something.
I mean, we might have to take that initiative to set that up.
Yeah.
And get them all to do that. They might not be able to do it on their own.
Yeah.
That's kind of another thing too. I mean, if we truly want that, then we'll have to figure that out.
Yes, but I think it's time.
I agree.
I think it's time.
I agree.
It's definitely time.
It's weird to go to a family thing and not see Mike. I haven't seen Mike in a long time. It's weird to go to a family thing and haven't seen my aunt since 2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, I don't want to speak for Mike, because I don't, but to defend him a little bit, I mean, he's got 3 little boys, and those little guys are high octane.
I mean,
they are high octane. Those little boys, they are characters.
Yeah.
They are wonderful kids. But let me tell you, Auntie Kathy must be tired every single night because it's not like Paul's twins, the girls, or Teo. I mean, it's 3 little boys who are into soccer, and oh my God, it's so cute. One of them, his character was Bumblebee from the Transformers, and he pretends and he doesn't break character. So we went to go watch Emma play soccer, and Emma's playing soccer, and this little kid is literally on the ground like he's a car, and he wouldn't move. He swore that he was a car. And I was like, oh my God, these kids are crazy. But I mean that like in the like nicest way ever.
Like what kids do, yeah.
So like for Mike, you have to defend him a little bit. Like his hands are full. Like I don't know. We went to Universal Studios with all of them.
Oh, wow.
And he was carrying them. And I mean, it's a lot. I mean, I still don't even know to this day how my sister carries Emma still.
Oh, but she's so tall.
Exactly. They're almost the same size. And my sister will pick her up and my sister's walking around. I'm like, oh my God, like, wow. Like, I guess at just some point you find that inner strength.
Yeah.
You find that inner strength and it's your child. You do whatever you possibly can for them at all whatsoever. So going back to family and forgiveness, I think I've forgiven a lot of people. Not that people really do anything to me in general. I think, if anything, it's the opposite. I probably have done more to them than they have to me.
Yeah.
But you know, with the holidays coming up, with Thanksgiving and with Christmas or whatever you celebrate, Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, you know, for people that are listening to right now, you know, go to your family and figure it out. Or maybe you're having fun with your family and you should hold on and cherish those memories because like what you just said, you never know, they might not be there anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I got so sappy. We need to change this around. What else? What else, Lewis? Oh, my God. I'm all depressed.
Are you really?
No, not really. I just, you know.
You almost had me there.
It's all for the likes. I'm just kidding. No. I'm trying to think what else has been going on. I've been, like, super busy. I'm pulling out all my Halloween decorations, and I'm trying to put up Christmas.
That's what I did, yeah. Christmas is next.
A transition is it's interesting because like the holidays are such a huge transition, but in California, no one tells the weather that it's a transition. And like right now, it's 82 degrees today.
It's summertime right now.
It's summertime, and it's literally winter across the country, and we're like, oh, I got him in shirts and like a t-shirt.
I just went to the beach yesterday.
I still have my tan. I mean, it's November. Look at this.
And the mosquitoes haven't gone away, which is super odd.
I am getting eaten up right now. Like, we had to stop down. And you'll notice also, too, if you're really paying attention, Dana, that Lewis's chair has changed color.
And I put on a long sleeve. I think I'm going to leave that part in so that the continuity stays the same.
Yeah.
So people realize what happened.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny, though.
So... You should.
I am. I'm
not going to even say. So you probably already saw what happened. So I'm going to shut my mouth. Look at me. Give me my 2 cents. I'm trying to control it. I'm going to shut my mouth.
But yeah, I think a lot of those topics are very important. I think people need to hear them. And I think our family needs to hear them. I think we're not the only cousins that share that same sentiment. And I think a lot of them don't speak up enough. Or maybe they have in private, but it goes on deaf ears.
I also wanted to talk about this because I feel like, well, one, it needs to be said. And 2, I don't want to be like those people that are, you know, I love that for you. Like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that's like, if you suck on a rock, your energy is going to change. And listen, that may or may not be true. And I'm not trying to make fun of those people. But I just feel like, whatever happened to raw emotion? Why do you have to have a magnet vibrating your brain and your aura to reprogram you? Why can't you just delve down deep, heal, forgive yourself, forgive the people that have hurt you, just forgive in general? Listen, I forgave my COVID romance.
Did he finally take down the Disney Plus?
Stone, I'm still on it.
I'll bleep it.
No. I mean, like, listen, how many years has that been? Like, since COVID?
Yeah.
When was COVID? 2019?
20.
Okay, so it's been like we're in 24, right?
So it went on from 2020 to about the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2022.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that long. My COVID romance? Oh, COVID did. Yeah.
COVID did. Yeah.
My COVID romance was like only like it wasn't even a romance. It was my COVID get together. We'll call it that. And like, yeah, like I did the same thing too because I'm an emotional Leo. Like I was like, I'm getting rid of him from my social media, but I just think it's a little odd that he still follows me on social media. And a part of me is like, I'm not going to control it. It is what it is. I post whatever. I don't really care anymore because I have healed from it. And I think back and I chuckle and I laugh because I think of the way that I acted. And I think of the way that I thought, like, oh my God, maybe this might come to fruition. And this is horrible that I'm laughing as I'm saying this. I'm making myself choke. But what was I really thinking? Okay, I wasn't thinking.
Well, you were in the moment.
I was
Sometimes
beyond
we
in the
fall
moment.
into the moment
Okay?
a little too much.
I was
I've been
foaming
there.
at the mouth in the moment, and there was no future at all whatsoever. And I think that's what I'm trying to find now also, too. It's like, I meet so many guys, and you're just like, there is no future. And again, this particular episode, we're just jumping around because we're catching up.
Yeah.
We haven't filmed a lot of episodes in a while, and so I got to get back into practice. So we're getting back into practice, and I think it's just really funny. But like, I've been meeting some people, and it's just like, no.
That's pretty funny.
But enough about me. And I also have been adopting. This is new for me.
I like how you said enough about me and then go straight back into you.
Always.
It's great.
What I'm also trying to do is I'm really trying to focus on the people that pay attention to me.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, I have certain friends that reach out to me and you're like, oh, because they're always going to be there.
Yeah.
Right? They're always going to be there. And so I tend to I'm totally guilty. I tend to tell them, well, I'm busy this week, or, I'll see you in a week or whatever. And I stopped doing that. So now I try to be absolutely 1,000,000% in the present with my friends or the family that are reaching out to me. And I take the phone call.
Yeah.
If I'm available, I take the phone call. No more screening. No more like sending text messages. Oh, let's have lunch next week. No more bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think enough is enough. I'm getting further along in my beauty. And I don't think what people realize is that when you do that, it's actually harder.
Yeah.
You're making it harder for yourself. And I never really realized until my old age of 31 that, that I'm doing that. And I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So the ones that don't reach out, I don't reach out either anymore. I don't really care.
I've actually been not purposely dodging a friend, but I've had a friend message me twice. And each time he's like, hey, man, I just moved down here. He's been living up in San Francisco for the last, I don't want to say maybe 10 years. I hadn't seen him in a while. And he just moved back maybe like 2-3 months, right? He lives in L.A. And he's asked me twice. And I didn't blow him off because I wanted to. I actually do want to hang out with him. But I feel like we're just in such different places in our lives that I'm kind of scared that I'm not going to provide anything that he hasn't either come across. And when I first met him, like he was the younger kid and I was the older adult. Like I helped him, I taught him how to drive kind of thing. Like he had a learner's permit. Nobody would teach him how to drive. So I said, yeah, we'll go to work together. You can drive my car. And from that, he went to live his life and now he's got like 2 kids. He works for Impossible Foods,
Oh, wow.
like a big company, things like that. And I feel bad because he is a good friend. But I also kind of I don't know where I'm at this part of my life where I'm not afraid. But I don't know, have you ever felt that way where you're just afraid that you might not connect with them and it just feels awkward?
I'm trying to think if I ever felt that way. I think maybe people might have felt that way about me. But I don't think I've ever felt that way about people in general. As I've getting further along in my beauty, what I'm realizing is there are people. I have a good friend named Michael, and he kind of would call me out and say to me, "You're always on," and that's tiring. And I'd be like, "What do you mean?" And I had to learn what that meant. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
I just thought, and I was programmed to think, to always be on, right? What I didn't realize was that was very taxing to a lot of people because they're like, oh God, Danny, oh God. He's fun to be with and he's fun. But let me tell you, when you're done, like you need to sleep like 4 days, right? I just have this energy and I get it. I get what I bring to the table. So what I'm trying to figure out now, like, when I hang out with people, I give them like high energy. It's fun. I show them who Danny is. But if I talk to them on the phone, I'm a completely different person.
Yeah.
And not that I'm trying to be something different, but so that that I possess on the spectrum those different, behavioral patterns. I don't want to always be on because it's tiring also too. Like it's very tiring. But going back to what you had said in terms of, I don't think you should worry about connecting with them. I think that the fact, going back to what I said, the fact that this person has made the effort to reach out to you, then I think you should definitely, on the reciprocal end of that, you should, figure out a way to connect and then go from there.
Yeah.
Because maybe you don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't know how it's going to go.
I self-sabotage myself. Like, I'm 100% that guy. Very low self-esteem kind of person. When I get an idea in my head, it's like, oh God. And I know I'm doing it to myself because we've been friends for a long time. Like, there's no reason for me to feel that way, but I kind of look at his posts or like where his life is. I mean, the dude travels. He goes everywhere because that's where his job takes him to.
Yeah.
And I just sit there and I go, this guy has lived a life that I will, or have not lived yet.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, what am I going to do? Bring up some old jokes? So we used to watch the Chappelle Show all the time. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, if that's what you have to do, then that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you should judge yourself. Yeah, you are beating yourself up quite. You're overthinking it.
Yes.
You're
Again, I'm going through this emotion of I can't control everything, and I really need to let this shit go. I'm tired of it.
You're definitely overthinking. I'm also guilty of that also too. But it's hard to like reprogram yourself because we're led to believe that we're not good enough.
Yes.
A lot goes for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And listen, you don't need a self-help book. You don't need a rock. You don't need a paper or a pen. You just have to remember that the person that looks in the mirror, that's who you answer to.
Yeah.
Granted, listen, it's easier for me to say than for people to do or for them to implement.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that. I get that. But at the end of the day, it's like we're all human beings. We all have that one. Like we need emotion. We need to have this sense of comfort and cuddle with people and be friends and do this and that. Everybody wants to feel some sort of security.
Yeah.
For some people, they are desperate enough to accept any type of sense of security. And then there's some people that have this like wall up where they think that they deserve Fort Knox security.
Without putting any effort into it.
Yeah, without putting any effort into it. And you're like, bitch, please, ain't nothing gold behind them walls. Okay. But yeah, so I'm not like a self-help guru. I don't want to claim to be, and I just want to give my personal point of view and opinion, whether it is based on science, whether it's based on the emotion that I feel. It's my feelings.
Yeah.
And these are your feelings also too. And your feelings, people may actually have those. You know what I mean? There may be someone that's watching the show going, oh, fuck, I'm the same person. And yes, Danny, you're always fucking on.
Yeah.
Right? But, as I'm getting further along in my beauty again, trying to be a better egg.
Yeah.
My friends see it, but not everybody sees it. Not everybody. And so, listen, I'm hoping that they'll all forgive me.
But here's a question for you too. Should everybody see it? Should it be for the ones that have kind of stuck by your side this whole time?
Well, I think because we have this platform, I think everybody kind of needs to see it. I think there's an obligation, when you put yourself in front of a camera or you want to be the next Oprah or the next, Helen or whatever her name is. I think there is a level of obligation that you have to the public. And I fought for many years to be in this position because I never wanted to be behind the camera. I suck. I'm sorry, in front of the camera. See, I still can't even say it. I've always felt that I've sucked. I mean, we've had to practice. I mean, you can attest to that. I've had to practice multiple times, and I still mess up every now and then.
I think we both do. I'll personally tell you this. The hardest thing to do is know that thing is on recording me at all times.
Right?
I don't like it. It actually stresses me out. But I think for the first time in my life, again, going back to some of that control that I have let go, I just do it anyway.
See, so for me, I don't think it's about control. I think for me, it's about insecurity.
That too.
I think it's a lot of insecurity because you're like, oh my God, is my double chin showing?
But
and that's why today I was like, I haven't shaved in like months because this is all little grow. I don't grow hair. Remember, I'm not a hairy person.
But isn't that a sense of control? Insecurities? You can control your insecurities.
But do you really want to, though? Shouldn't you celebrate your insecurities?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you should just let it go and not worry about what you look like or how you feel and this and that.
Well, I would say yes, but then on the other side of that token, you have people that are in the business that would fight with you and against you and say, but hold on. But you're a brand. You're a brand. And you need to look like your brand. 'Cause you're amazing. And you're wonderful. And everybody wants to buy your book. There. That was my depiction of the television industry.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So, on that, like I said, on that side of the token, there are those people that are, trying to mold you into mainstream.
Yeah.
I'm not mainstream.
No.
I'm never going to be mainstream.
Never going to be mainstream. Yeah.
I could lose 1 million pounds. It's still, I could Ozempify myself. And I see you on Instagram, those people who all of a sudden you're super thin.
Calls them out.
Yeah. We see you. You Ozempified yourself. Good luck to you. Listen, I wish I could do it also too, but I feel like if I did do that, then at some point you have to come off of it. It's not a forever thing, and then you go back
temporary.
to being,
And what are the effects after you're off of it, and then you eat yourself again to death? Like, how does that work?
To be honest, like, I probably wouldn't fucking care because you're like, I'm thin, right? If I die, guess what?
I die looking
3
good.
people can carry the coffin. It's fabulous, right? Instead of 52 carrying my coffin. Coffin, excuse me. Coffin. But, everybody has life goals. Those are mine. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very double-edged sword. You want the celebrity. I mean, perfect examples. Look at Mama June, and what is her name? Betty Bop, Betty
Honey
Boo.
Boo Boo.
Thank you, Honey Boo Boo. Betty Bop. See, that's when you're getting old too. You make up all these different adjectives to fill in, and people are like, it's like your own Pictionary, but in real life, right?
Our grandma used to do that so much.
You're like saying, oh, blue shirt, shorts, short haircut. Oh, Dora the Explorer. You're like, yes. Like, so, very vague details, and then somebody guesses in the room. That's exactly what we just did. Oh my God. So, it's kind of like that. Oh God, who did you just say it was?
Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah. It's like, in the beginning when they first came out, they were like large and in charge. And then the mother got, bypass surgery, and she got her whole mouth redone and implants in her hair.
Wow.
And I mean, it's craziness, right? And now she's completely different. And the same thing with Honey Boo Boo. Like now she's completely different. Look at the Osbournes. God bless them, love them for days, years, months on end, and centuries. But Mrs. O has been Ozempified, and she looks like a skeleton.
Yeah, so it's like a little unhealthy.
And it's like, so then you cross the line of, is this healthy thinking?
Yeah.
Like, is this what we should be leading our nation into?
Well, it's also like, should you be showing that on camera? Because you're going to have people look at you and go, oh, I want to do that, because they feel bad in their own skin. And it's kind of bad.
Yeah. And we're going to change too. Season 3, we're going to change. I mean, we went from audio to now on YouTube. We're going to change.
Yeah.
You're going to cut your hair. I'm going to wear a suit. Like we're going to eventually change also too.
Can I add that? I haven't cut my hair because just like him, I'm afraid to go to somebody else. Ramos was cutting my hair for almost 2 years, and now I got to go find another barber. It's a hassle.
And I went back to the barber that cut my hair the first time because I was like, actually, you know what? I take back what I said. He actually did a really good job, right? So I go in, and he's like, Edward Scissorhands. Again, you don't get to see what you look like because they never face you to the mirror.
Yeah.
You're only looking out. And then again, how does he see what he's doing, So then I ended up, so now this is the new cut, which sort of looks good, but I put a ton of gel. You can't even tell, but I've got this,
I thought you're showing it. You have to see it to
I have random
understand.
strands of hair, and then I have it's so Ramos, I'm gonna have to be coming back to him because he's gonna have to fix this.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have to grow out. It's like, what do you do?
What do you do? Yeah.
Oh, you try to venture out and be different, and then you're like, oh, this is what happened. This is what happens. But going back to how things change. It's just a fact. One day we're going to have to change.
Yeah.
We're going to have to change because people are going to want to see something different. that's why I always wanted it to be very raw, so that we would have this opportunity to go back and be like, oh my God, look at me.
No,
That was
it's
me when
gonna
I
be
was
fun.
so fat. And now I've had like reconstructive facialplasty, thrombosis, or whatever you call it. And my nose has been redone, and my eyes and my Botox. I'm like, oh my God, welcome to Do It Like Danny. Welcome. Only my eyes, only my people do. Louie, the other day, oh my God, amazing.
Oh my God.
And then I'll go back to my television. Oh my God, so listen, we were at Starbucks and we had the most amazing latte ever.
Watch us end up on CBS. After all of that, we ended up back at CBS.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I told them my name was Do It Like Danny, and they put Henry on my Starbucks cup. How dare they? You know, speaking of fits, I have to bring this up. The pool is out of control. I haven't given a pool update in a really long time, but I feel like it needs to be said. So, again, my area is very, not even up and coming. It's just affluent, right?
Affluent, yeah.
Affluent. And there are a lot of privileged people at the pool. And right now the world is falling apart. Like, people are dying all over. And I went to class, and it was a new instructor.
Uh-huh.
So backstory is they don't give the instructors any type of training. They just say, okay, great, you're here today. You're going to train the class. And it doesn't necessarily go always as you would think, right?
Yeah.
Now, because I've been going for so long, then of course I know all the exercises. I know what the names are. I know the beats. I know I've taught the class a couple of times because people were like, you teach it. But I want to get paid, right?
Yeah,
they actually approached me to be a volunteer. He said, will you volunteer and teach the class? And I was like,
I need to get some money out.
Yeah.
I got some things
Like,
to do.
have a bake sale. Pay a bitch. Okay? I'm sorry, city. Okay? Dirty Newsome, or what was the other guy's name?
Who?
What was the other one that's an idiot? Newsome is an idiot. And then
The one before him?
No.
Brown?
No, what's the little dude? He looks like one of those puppets from Team America.
They all look like puppets from TV.
They really do, don't they? Oh my
They
goodness.
do.
Oh God, this is so bad. This is how bad I am at politics. But I need to start getting political because the world's falling apart.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Let it burn. Let's just enjoy ourselves.
Newsome. What is his name?
Let's move on, because I don't know.
Okay, let's go back. Then. Let's kill that. What was I saying before that? Oh, fuck, I totally lost my train of thought.
You need to pay a bitch.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's city of Los Angeles. You need to pay a bitch. Okay, you can't just volunteer my time and I'm over there 1, 2, 3, 4 getting 0. Okay,
That is a little weird. You would think they
That's-
would put money towards that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and they're short lifeguards as it is, right? And I'm just thinking, I would apply because I just love it. I love the water,
Yeah.
but I just don't think I'd be a good lifeguard because I just would want everyone to drown. You know what I mean? Which is a horrible thing to say, but there are some people that need to drown. So going back to the privilege pool, we're gonna just kind of start calling it privilege pool from
Privilege
now
pool.
on. These poor kids, and they're all kids. They're all kids.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's a few people that are like in my age range, but they're all kids. Like I think the manager is like 24 or 25. Like to me, those are kids.
Yeah.
And then these adults come in and they start yelling at them. They're crazy. So the other day, a new instructor comes in, right? Privileged class. Everybody has had the same instructor for so long. The girl that teaches, she kicks our butt. I mean,
Yeah.
I burn like 700 calories just in one class, which is quite a bit, right? For 45 minutes, that's a lot, and you're in the water, okay? So to go from that level of calorie burning to the boy that was put in charge of it, who literally was like, okay, everybody, he wouldn't even look at anybody. He's like, okay, walk in place. It lasted like 3 minutes, and one of the patrons in the pool literally got out of the pool.
And balanced.
And I watched her as she went to the office, because the office is like right behind where they teach. And I saw her poke her head in, and I saw shoulder movement, arms like this. Right? She was like out of control. She was having a major bitch
Meltdown,
fit,
yeah.
right? And then she like comes back to the pool. She grabs her stuff and she goes over to Elaine and begins to swim. And I was like, oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it's embarrassing too.
And I thought about it, and I'm like, I gotta tell this story on the show, because the reason why it felt so close to home for me when that lady had her bitch fit is I was that person.
Really?
At the show or shows, I was that person.
Interesting.
When something didn't go my way, I threw a bitch fit, right? In a way that maybe was construed as diva or, controlling or power hungry. I came off that way, and I wanted to change that energy, which is why I helped the kid.
Yeah.
Because, I've probably been mean to people, and I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not, listen, again, we've said this before. I'm sure I'm the villain in many people's stories, and then we have proof, right?
Yeah.
Proof comes out. It all comes out in the wash anyways,
Yeah.
right? And so I've always been someone that I don't have anything to hide. I dance with my demons, and I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
And in that moment, when I saw her have her fit, I was like, oh my God, like, I've looked like that at some point. And I don't want to look like that, because that's a bad look.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a very bad look, especially when you're wet in the water.
And a certain age. At some point, you need to grow up.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to do my best. And I probably would have been worse to the kid. I would have said to him, you're terrible. You will never work again in this town. Like, I would have probably made it, I really would have made him go home.
Yeah.
And he would have had to call his therapist and been in therapy for 10 years. Because I have, and I'm not going to say it's a gift, I have that
Yeah.
I don't want to say talent. What
It's
would
a power.
A characteristic?
It's a power.
I have this like weird thing where I could tell somebody hello, and they're like, "Oh my God, he told me he's gonna kill my family," and I'm like, "I never said that. I never said that." And I think it's a Leo energy. We just have this strong energy that sometimes when we talk to people, they think we're arguing.
Yeah.
And I'm not arguing with you. Yes, you are. You are. I'm not. I'm not. So I've had to really kind of like listen to my tone, and even when I'm like driving sometimes. Like, I'll be like, oh, hi, how are you? Listen, blah, 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 and I'll go through, like, my list of rules, and then I look at the people, and they're just like, right? They're so scared. They're like, oh, afraid.
My 5 stars.
Yeah, they're so afraid. They're so afraid that if they breathe in the back seat, that like I'm gonna like slash their faces off, right? And then I'm like, oh my God, I have to apologize and say, listen, I probably came off. That's my blanket statement. I have to turn it into a softer tone.
Yeah.
I'm so used to being, I wouldn't say professional, but I'm so used to just being maybe more black and white is probably a better word for it.
Well, you came from that too. You know what I'm saying?
Sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know. They used to drink between shows, everybody. Is it really that professional? Oops, that was a secret. That's good stuff. Yeah.
More on that later.
More on that later. But, that was a good learning lesson for me. Because I have been that person in multiple situations, whether it be at a restaurant or maybe getting my coffee or getting something where I didn't feel that I thought that I was being wronged.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I surveyed it and I realized she wasn't being wronged. The kid was being wronged by her reacting that way instead of just letting him go through it and then her understanding. But I was the only person in that class that knew the backstory that none of them go through any type of instruction. And I later had to tell her that. And she didn't know either. I think she felt bad for the way that she reacted. And then, like I said, I took care of him and I, made some jokes. And then when I gave my feedback to him, I thought about it because I thought in the past I would have said this, but I changed it. And I said to him, you did really great on this. You did great on this. I said, next time, this is what I would do differently.
What I would do, yeah.
This is me personally, right? Yeah. And he's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And it worked for him. It gave him a smile and it gave him more confidence.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where I missed the mark at the talk. I think that I didn't give the proper feedback and I didn't give people the confidence that they needed. I tore them apart because of all the experience that I had had in my life working in television. And then up until that point, that culmination of the executives didn't care. And I'm going to lump them all together because they didn't care, because they were too busy making restaurant reservations and they were getting their hair done and they were thinking of how they were going to spend the thousands of dollars that they were making instead of figuring out how their staff could make the show better. And when ideas were presented, you were scoffed or laughed at. Well, meanwhile, we want to hear what you have to say.
But we don't really care.
But we don't really care.
Yeah.
And everybody knew that. Everybody knew that. And so I adopted that also too.
So then, I mean, you can't be too hard on yourself. You are a product of your environment. Listen,
I gotta be. Listen, that sounds great. 'Cause that's like, that's an abundance answer, Louie.
Trying to like see that silver lining.
No, I have to be responsible for my own actions. I have to be responsible, and I have to take ownership.
Yeah,
I was fucking horrible. You know what I mean? Like, and this comes along with forgiveness and holidays and everything. And everybody's a person.
Yeah.
And I tried to do the best that I could to treat everybody as a person, but I missed the mark many times on certain. Now, my own team, I always was like, I love them to death. Did I miss the mark in there every now and then? Of course. I'm a fucking human being. Of course I missed the mark.
Yeah.
So you're probably wondering, like, what the fuck I'm talking about, right? You're probably like, why the hell is he telling all these different stories? What I want you to realize is it was all about forgiveness since the beginning. No matter what you believe, no matter who you are, no matter even if we've crossed paths or not, and one day maybe we will cross paths. The whole goal of this show was to let you know that I'm sorry, and I'm hoping that you have forgiven me for the things that I have said, because either I wasn't in the right frame of mind, or in my mind, I thought it was funny, and it didn't come off that way because you had no sense of humor.
So now putting it back on that. I love it. I love it.
So I'm hoping that in your little small mind that you will have an opportunity to forgive me, because I honestly want to believe in my heart that I never operate from a bad place. I think that all of these shows, if you do watch them, the main component is that you're always going to see is that I have a lot of heart.
Yeah.
I have a lot of heart, and sometimes my emotions run high. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that, again, going back to the beginning, we're taught that emotions are bad, but they're not. Emotions are good. You have to feel them. You should feel. I would feel worse if I didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
I think then you'd be a horrible person. My COVID romance. So with all that being said, the holiday season is upon us. I hope that you find hope, you find forgiveness, and I hope you find me next week. Because it's been a great Do It Like Danny. And I want you to do it like Danny. Well, some of the time. Thank you, Louie. Thank everyone that watches. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Have a good one.